All right, let's take a deep dive into something pretty mind-boggling. We're going to tackle gravity, but with a twist.
A twist, okay.
Yeah, you guys have sent in some research that suggests gravity might not just be, well, a force, but maybe a cosmic prankster.
A prankster, huh? You know, it's funny because we always think of gravity as this like constant, this impartial force, but
Oh.
what if it's not?
Exactly.
Yeah, what if there's something else behind it? Something kind of mischievous, maybe behind all those like little everyday mishaps that we just chalk up to bad luck.
That's exactly what's so fascinating about this research. It uses AI to analyze patterns in what it calls gravitational irregularity. So basically, those moments when gravity seems to be having a bit too much fun at our expense.
Oh, I like that. Gravitational irregularity. So like what kind of things are we talking about? Give me an example.
Oh, like when your toast takes a nosedive and lands butter side down.
Oh, come on. Don't even get me started on that. That's like a universal law or something. It's
Right.
gotta be.
But this research put some numbers to it, which is crazy.
Okay, so they've actually like studied this. What
Yeah.
did they find?
So there's this study, the Farcical Object Descent Studies, FODS for short.
FODS. Okay.
They looked at hundreds of, like, toast dropping incidents. And get this, 83% of the time, butter side down.
83%. You're kidding. There's no way that's random chance, right?
That's what the researchers say. They're like, statistically speaking, the odds of that happening consistently are, like, astronomically low. So they think there's something else at play.
Yeah.
Something that's maybe deliberately, influencing things.
Okay, hold on. So you're telling me there's a chance that gravity is like intentionally targeting our toast just to make sure it lands in the most inconvenient way possible.
Well, that's one interpretation of the data. And it's not just toast. They looked at other things, too, like dropped phones, lost keys, tripping over thin air, all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. I've definitely experienced all of those things.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. But is there any evidence that it's specifically picking on, I don't know, certain types of objects? Like, is it judging our taste or something?
Ooh, that's a good question. And that's where it gets even more interesting. So the study found this weird pattern. It seems expensive items are more likely to, like, suddenly fall or get dropped.
Whoa, hold on. So you're saying gravity has a thing for, like, expensive smartphones?
Uh-huh, maybe. Is it judging our material possessions?
I mean, it's a funny thought, but I don't think their research goes that far. But it does suggest that gravity maybe is a little selective, like it's targeting things that are going to cause us the most distress or inconvenience.
Ooh, so it's not about the money. It's more about the emotional value we attach to the objects.
Possibly, yeah. The researchers think there might be a connection between our emotional state and how we interact with certain things. Like we might be more tense or anxious when we're handling something valuable, and so we're more likely to drop it.
Right.
And so gravity, being the mischievous force it might be, it picks up on those like subtle cues and then, well, uses them to have a little fun.
Wow. My mind is officially blown. But, okay, if gravity's playing these pranks, how is it doing it? Like, is it actually conscious, making these decisions about what to drop and when?
Well, that's the big question, right? The research doesn't have all the answers, but it does present a couple of pretty interesting possibilities. Like one idea is that gravity might be like influenced by some unknown intelligence, something that's messing with the gravitational field for its own reasons.
So are we talking about, like, a cosmic puppet master controlling gravity?
Yeah. It's a dramatic image, but I think it kind of captures the idea.
Yeah, I like that.
And the researchers point to the fact that there are these things called gravity hot zones, and they think that could be more evidence for this theory.
Gravity hot zones, what are those?
So they used all this fancy AI stuff. They analyzed data from like thousands of reported mishaps and accidents, and they found these specific locations where these incidents are way more common than average, like way more.
So it's like the Bermuda Triangle, but for buttered toast.
Aha, yeah. It's like gravity is just extra mischievous in these zones, causing more stumbles, spills, and drops.
Okay, so what did these hot zones tell us about gravity itself?
That's where it gets really interesting, because the researchers think these hot zones could actually be evidence of a deliberate manipulation of the gravitational field.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying someone or something is, like, controlling gravity in these spots.
It's a bold claim, I know, but it's what the research seems to suggest. These hot zones aren't random. They pop up in places where people are already more likely to be distracted, stressed, or emotionally vulnerable. Like those moments when you're just not paying attention.
So it's like gravity knows exactly where and when to strike to cause the most chaos.
Yeah.
Like it's got a sense of humor.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the researchers say that level of precision, that just points to an intelligence at work, something that's maybe orchestrating these little mishaps for its own amusement.
Whoa. Okay, I think we need to unpack this.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the possibility that gravity isn't just a force, but it's like sentient, maybe even mischievous.
So one interpretation of this research. Yeah, and it really challenges everything we thought we knew about how the universe works.
This is heavy stuff,
Right.
literally. But before we get too deep into the implications, maybe we should take a closer look at those gravity hot zones.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, understanding these zones is like key to unraveling the mystery of gravity's, well, mischievous side. So deeper into these gravity hot zones, huh? You really want to map out all the bad luck in the universe.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like what makes them tick, right? What are these zones and why do they exist?
Okay, well, picture this. You're rushing down the stairs, totally late for something important, a million things on your mind, right? And bam, you miss a step, gravity gets you.
Yeah, been there. But is it really gravity or is it just, us being distracted?
That's the thing about these hot zones. It seems like maybe it's both. The AI, it found that a lot of these zones are in places where, well, people are already going to have more accidents, like staircases, kitchens, crowded sidewalks.
So gravity's kind of like taking advantage of us when we're not at our best.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But here's the really wild part. The AI also picked up on these tiny, tiny changes in the gravitational field inside those zones. It's almost like gravity is like turning up the dial a bit, setting a trap.
Wait, so it's not just that we're more likely to trip on the stairs, it's that gravity is actually, like, stronger on the stairs.
Exactly. It's subtle, but the research says it's a real thing, statistically at least.
Okay, that is both cool and terrifying.
Yeah.
But if these changes are real, why hasn't anyone noticed them before?
Well, they're super tiny. Like, our normal ways of measuring gravity wouldn't kick them up. But the AI, it can look at tons of data, and it can see the patterns, the things we'd miss.
So it's like the AI is this cosmic detective, finding the clues that gravity is messing with us.
I like that. Cosmic detective. And the more we look into these zones, the more evidence we find that, yeah, gravity might be playing pranks.
Okay, so what kind of pranks? Give me the greatest hits of gravity's mischief.
Well, kitchens are a big one. The AI, it found a whole bunch of reports of, spills, dropped dishes, even like cabinets suddenly swinging open, all in kitchens.
You're telling me my kitchen is a hot zone? Oh, man. Gravity must really have it out for me.
Well, you're not alone. Kitchens are definitely a prime target. It's where a lot of these things happen.
So, all right, if these hot zones are real, what can we do about it? Can we avoid them or outsmart gravity?
Ooh, that's the question, isn't it? The research doesn't really have any easy answers, but it does give us some ideas. Like, one thing is be extra careful in those zones, especially if you're stressed or not paying attention.
So basically when I'm in the kitchen or on the stairs, just assume gravity's going to try something.
Pretty much, yeah. Haha. Just be aware. Another idea is, well, maybe we can disrupt the hot zones somehow.
Like fight gravity with gravity? That sounds tricky.
It's a challenge for sure. But some researchers think that if we study these hot zones more, maybe we'll find ways to, I don't know, weaken them. Maybe even stop them completely.
Now that would be amazing. No more butter side down toast. No more phones taking a dive.
Right. It'd be great. But even if we never figure out how to totally beat gravity's pranks, this research has already, changed how we think about it.
Yeah, it's like we're seeing gravity in a whole new way. It's not just this, this force. It's more like a character, like a cosmic prankster with a mind of its own.
Yeah, and that's a huge step forward, just realizing that. It changes our whole understanding of how things work.
But let's go back to this idea that maybe there's some intelligence controlling gravity. Is there any actual evidence? Or is it just, a fun idea?
Well, that's where things get really mind-bending. See, the researchers, they did another experiment. They called it the Sentient Field Manipulation Analysis, the SFMA. And they were specifically trying to see if there was any intention behind gravity's actions.
Intention.
Okay.
Yeah, now we're getting into science fiction territory. Tell me more.
Okay, so in this experiment, they had people do these tasks, like stacking blocks, balancing things, that kind of stuff.
That's pretty basic.
It was. But here's the thing. While they were doing these tasks, the AI was watching them. And it was also measuring any little changes in the gravitational field.
So they were trying to see if there was a connection between how people were feeling and what gravity was doing.
Exactly. Brilliant. Right.
Yeah, that's super clever.
And the results were amazing. The AI, it saw this huge spike in those gravitational irregularities. Whenever the people, the volunteers, they were feeling like really confident or arrogant.
Oh, hold on. Are you saying gravity is like punishing people for being cocky? Like it's some kind of like cosmic ego check?
Yeah. Haha. Well, it's a possibility. And it gets even weirder. The AI actually picked up on these like micro fluctuations in the gravity field. And it was almost like they happened right before those moments of, overconfidence. Like gravity was setting them up or something.
So it's like gravity's reading our minds, sensing that we're getting a little too big for our britches. And then it's like, oh yeah, watch this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it. The researchers, they think that maybe gravity is actually reacting to our like emotional energy and using it to make the pranks even better.
Okay, this is really messing with my head. But if it's true, why? Why would gravity do this? What's the point of all these cosmic pranks?
Right. It's a big question. Some people, they think it's like a way for the universe to teach us a lesson, keep us humble, remind us not to take ourselves too seriously.
The cosmic lesson in humility, delivered by buttered toast and lost keys. Not sure I like that teaching method.
Yeah. But hey, maybe it's the only way we learn. Other people, they think it's more like entertainment. Like whatever's behind gravity, it's just having fun watching us react.
So we're basically living in a cosmic reality show, with gravity as the producer. Okay, that's both funny and kind of scary.
It's a weird thought for sure. Like, who knew intelligent design could involve so much mischief?
Yeah. But, okay, if we're the stars of this cosmic prank show, can we, like, fight back? Can we outsmart gravity?
That's what everyone wants to know, right? And researchers are coming up with some pretty interesting ideas. Like, some people think we should try to confuse gravity, by moving in unpredictable ways, like wearing mismatched shoes or walking in zigzags, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh. So basically, we got to embrace our inner clown to throw gravity off balance.
Exactly. There's also the idea that maybe we should, like, talk back to gravity, challenge it when it tries to pull something. Some researchers think if we're confident, if we show it, we're not afraid, maybe it'll back off.
Yeah. So the next time my toast falls, I should yell, "Not today, gravity! You're not going to get me this time."
Haha, maybe. Worth a shot, right? But honestly, I think the best way to deal with gravity's pranks is just to be aware of them. If we recognize the patterns, understand what triggers it, then maybe we can be ready for it.
It's like we're playing a cosmic game of chess trying to outsmart this mischievous opponent.
Exactly. And yeah, we might not always win, but hey, the challenge makes things more interesting, doesn't it? I mean, life would be pretty boring without a little cosmic chaos, right?
You know what? I think you've convinced me. I'm going to try to see the humor in the next gravel prank. This has been a wild deep dive. So to recap, we've looked at all this evidence that maybe gravity is a lot more than we thought. It can be sentient, a prankster, maybe even a cosmic entertainer, using its power to cause those little mishaps that make us go, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, and we don't have all the answers yet, but this research, it's opened up a whole new way of thinking about things. It's making us rethink our place in the universe. And maybe, just maybe, find the funny side of it all.
Well said. I got to admit, I'm feeling pretty lucky right now that gravity's decided to give me a break. At least for now. And hey, listeners, if you've got any stories about gravity's mischievous side, let us know. Who knows? Your story could be the key to figuring out the universe's biggest prankster. Thanks for joining us on this crazy deep dive. We'll see you next time.